Greetings and welcome to our wrap show for City of Destiny, a part of the Untold Stories Project. I am not your game master tonight, but I have been for the past season. But I am your host, Aaron. This is where we've been doing our actual play of the Emerald City Knights adventure series from Mutants and Masterminds, the world's greatest superhero RPG. I don't have any heroes collected tonight, but I do have some of my best friends who have been portraying heroes for all of you for the past several months. So why don't we say hello, friends?
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
So yeah, the goal of tonight was to do a little bit of a recap for the second half of the season. I don't know if that is as important since the show is done and you can just go watch all of it on our YouTube channel or on our website. Well, the season is done, not the show. We will be back. But we also wanted to just kind of have a place for questions, sharing memories with the audience, all that sort of stuff. So let's go around and introduce ourselves and who we've been playing for the past, not quite a year, but almost. And I'll start with Alex.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I have been playing part of Ethan Blackwell, a.k.a. Crucible, a.k.a. the Commissar of Magnetism.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a lie. Ethan is the unpainted turn of magnetism. Quickly becoming the master, though. I'm very excited to see what happens in Season 2. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us during this show that we've been doing. And I will pass the greeting over to Aunt Puppy down there.
Oh, crap. Well, it's not ready. It's never me next. I'm Aunt Puppy. I played Keone this season, and so she is kind of dating Ethan. She has only admitted it to Tommy and Portal, not to Ethan.
That's not going to have any bad effects on him.
She greatly enjoys stabbing. Not necessarily the murder, but like the stabbing is fun for her. Not the healing part, just the stabbing part. Yeah, that's really. She is adopted and is trying to figure out where her birth parents are and what they're up to. So she's got a whole mix of things going on in her personal life. I think that's it. I'll pass it over to Portal.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon. I played Portal, the bisexual disaster. And the one who agreed to keep Keone's secret a secret from Ethan because he just thought it was hilarious. And I will pass it back over to Joe.
Over. Yeah, no, I'm Joe. I was playing Carol Iron, the murder mama of the group. She was from a different dimension. Bad stuff happened, and she got booped into hell? Netherworld? No, hang on.
Yeah, it was the Netherworld.
Netherworld, okay. I kept thinking that was like a different game or comic or something, and I didn't want to get things mixed up. Anyways, she lived and fought and survived the Netherworld for 10 years, and then another crazy thing happened, and then suddenly she's in this world, this crazy cast of people, and her not husband being trapped in an octopus inside a mech suit. It's complicated. But that's been a fun little complication to play this entire time. And she's accidentally adopted these 3 crazy college kids because she doesn't know how to help herself. And yeah, Back to Aaron that way?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, so it's it's been my privilege to be the game master for this little crazy group of ne'er-do-wells. Which is actually a terrible description. They've actually been incredibly effective heroes. Their personal lives are a hot mess, but in terms of being superheroes and saving the day, they're actually very good at it.
Emphasis on hot.
Yes. So I think we're probably going to start with I'm not giving a hero point to anyone, Augur. I'll give one to Wiki so that when she runs, when Gemstar starts up, maybe she can give it back to me.
Wait, that's not fair. You could just start bribing the GM ahead of time.
For the record, I am incredibly susceptible to bribery.
I was gonna say that's known.
No.
We were going to we're going to do some a recap, but we'll start because we got a few questions that were posted to our Discord, and questions are more fun than recapping. Calvin, Win with Dice, wanted to know what plot thread / character are you most looking forward to following up with for next season? And I'm going to start with Jo, because she has a look on her face that makes me say that she does not want me to start with her. So
Fantastic. No, I was just thinking like what I'm most interested in. I'm actually most interested in like Keone's like family drama, inheritance, whatever that clusterfuck, whatever that situation is. I am personally invested in whatever that's going to be.
Beautiful cluster clock.
As for Carol stuff, I think I am terrified for Carol to have that moment where she has to meet this world's version of her children. Like, she is terrified of that situation, but I think that's going to be entertainment for everyone else. That's where I'm at.
All right.
Alex, whatever way it is up there.
I'm terrified of Riley. And whatever Riley is up to.
It ain't good.
No, at the best
I think
case,
she went full lemonade.
Yeah, best case scenario, she's a strong, independent white woman who don't need no man. Worst case scenario, she's going to ruin all of our lives.
Ha! She can't ruin my life when I'm too busy ruining it for myself.
But I think that and Ethan's dad, I just and his mom. I don't know who's a supervillain, but I assume at least one of them is.
Your whole family,
or maybe they all are, and Ethan will be also by the end of the season. Who knows?
Oh, please no, please no.
I'm also
only if I
to
play him as an NPC, because Alex playing Ethan as a supervillain would be far too dangerous.
Yeah,
this is for me.
I mean, honestly, though, like, imagine Alex playing Ethan as a villain and then Keone just, like, going along with the ride.
No.
Just everyone would be dead.
City of Destiny Season 2 Civil War confirmed.
I mean, all I'm going to say is that I am planning for Season 2 of City of Destiny to have a lighter tone.
Do you mean that the way I mean that? He's trying to lull us into a false sense of security. I'm also really excited to see what happens with the Stormers now that Telex is gone, and some of them who haven't had the ability to exercise their free will are going to find themselves with new superpowers that they have muscle memory for and no idea how they've used it. So I think it's going to be fun having that wild card out in the city. I'm going to pass it down to Brandon.
Mine's kind of easy. I think it's got to be the curveball Aaron threw me at the very end of the season. You know, it's it takes a really good GM to know when to take someone's PC and make them do something, and the player be like, yes. The only thing is I haven't decided what's going to happen after he goes in. And just so many, because, you know, it could very easily, he walks in, he looks around and goes, what the hell am I thinking? And gets out.
I mean, you could just be there to get him like a nice watch.
Exactly.
A nice watch for Christmas. It doesn't have to be an engagement ring.
Exactly. That's what I love about it. It's, you know, the fact that
the promise ring.
Yeah, the fact that I didn't plan it is making it that much more fun, because I'm figuring out, trying to think like, okay, so why did he go in there? What's his goal? And then I'm having fun thinking about it. And with that, I'll pass it to Aunt Puppy.
Well, I'm with Joe, and I'm interested to know about to exploring Keone's family, mainly because I'm, like I've said before, I'm completely blind to all of it. I basically let Aaron take the reins. I told him that I wanted a character that was adopted who didn't know her parents, and he said, well, would you like to figure out their whole history? And I was like, I'm not smart enough for that. You can do that. And so I kind of let myself be completely blind. So as you guys learn things, is the exact same moment I learn things. So there is
Alex,
there is
I
no
did push the button, but sometimes it takes her a second to get in.
There's no hiding that. So that's fun.
I can't decide if whether you telling him just I'm adopted, you come up with everything else, was either the most brilliant thing in the world or the most foolish thing in the world.
Yep.
Or maybe both simultaneously.
Yeah. I haven't quite.
I think the answer is yes. I mean, as a GM, and I'm sure Alex will, not collaborate, but
corroborate.
Yes. Having a mystery handed to you by a player is so much fun. Because especially if it is a mystery and not a, well, I just haven't really defined it. You know, if you've got an idea that, yeah, I've got parents and they're somewhere back home and they don't really get involved, that's not a mystery. That's just, okay, they don't really matter. But when you give someone a mystery, my interpretation as a GM, when a player gives me a mystery, is I want to explore this. I want this to be a thing. I mean, that's literally what Keone came to Emerald City to do, was to find her parents. So
and she found a boyfriend.
She found a
doofus.
Yeah.
He's a good doofus.
I don't try to just throw curveballs at my players, but what I do try to do is I try to see the points of interest that you guys leave for me, and I say, they wouldn't have put an opening here if it wasn't something that they didn't want to explore and to play with. I have no desire to throw a player into a subplot or a storyline that they don't want to be in. You know?
See, there's where you and Alex differ. You say, look, here's a thing I can explore. And Alex says, look, here's a thing I can put trauma in.
See,
I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Aaron says, here's a thing we can explore. Alex here's a thing I can exploit. So
that doesn't sound fair.
They're ease.
And the other part of it is, I mean, I'm sure that many of the things are things that the characters may not want to deal with, but like I said, I try to look at it as if you guys wrote something into your backstory as yeah, here's a weird little detail. You probably wrote that hoping that we'd do something with it at some point. So, hey, Wiki, you're back.
We've only answered one question, so you're safe.
Make your introduction, Wiki, and then I'm going to ask
Did you miss that I was here and
no, I knew
Alex?
You were here, but
okay.
we were in the middle of Aunt Puppy's answer, so.
Hi, I'm Wiki. My computer's a piece of shit. Nice to see you.
So we started off with a question from Calvin, which is, what plot thread / character are you most looking forward to following up with in the next season?
Somebody else answer. I just got here.
All did.
Everyone else has answered.
Oh, that's not fair.
I mean, I guess I could answer, but
I mean, probably the whole hey, your parents are alive, by the way, plot line. That should be fun.
We love a good by the way.
For me. It should be fun for me. It's going to be torture for Cyrus. Because he's like, I don't know what's happening right now, and everyone's going to get murdered, and yeah.
Yeah, you really laid a giant just package in front of Aaron for the unmentioned future game.
I mean, Wiki's good at that.
That thread has always been there. It was written into his backstory.
It was.
Now, to be fair, I didn't know that my not wife was going to show up and, expedite things.
I do want to change my answer. The thing
Okay.
I'm most looking forward to is the Carol Irons from this world showing back up.
Oh no.
You're just assuming that's going to happen.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, we'll see. So, recap.
I'm also excited for Aaron to not be on book, to have all of his own trauma come out of his brain to come get us, like mine does to all the other players I play with.
I mean, you were on book for season 1 of Nether War, more or less.
For 5% of it, yeah.
There was a book and he had it.
Yeah.
And occasionally he may have even read things from it.
All right. So, recapping. Where did we leave off with the recaps when you guys did the first recap?
I think it was right after the vampire we
I
killed.
think somebody probably should have gone back and watched that episode to find out. I
do homework.
don't know, actually. Anybody in the audience know?
Well, I know my first game was beyond like the crossover event. Whenever we were back in Emerald City, we were fighting the 300-foot vampire and his crazy not girlfriend, and the mountain were awoken with the gods inside. Anyways, that was the very first episode in Emerald City I played.
Okay.
Holy shit,
that-
I forgot that Cyrus and Portal are both like the avatars of this god now.
Uh-huh.
Oh, crap. I forgot about that, too.
I didn't forget that.
Not avatars of the guard.
We're the gatekeepers.
They're the gatekeepers.
You guys are the keymaster.
Yeah.
No, we're the gatekeeper.
All I'm saying is that some big, nasty, hairless dog comes running me down, you're all screwed.
So then, Yeah.
Was that, did that take place before or after the recap thingy?
You know what? I'm gonna check on YouTube.
I was
I'm
going to
actually
say,
looking right now.
it it sounds then that like Joe's first episode was episode 35 and 36. Opening Doors and Of Gods of Men.
But I'm not seeing the one for our.
Hey, well-oiled machine, y'all.
I feel like
Well-oiled
somebody should have
machine.
taken notes on our page that we set up at the very beginning with high hopes of, you
Hey,
know.
Why were we so great at thinking that through?
I attempted that, and then it.
I kept putting notes in there for a good long time.
See, this is the same problem I have at my work. Nobody wants to take ownership for it, so then it just falls apart.
Yeah, I don't see.
Let's
the video
just
for the video
say
for our previous Q&A.
that our last recap stopped after we sent the vampire back to
Vampire Land.
from whence he came, because that sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So episode 19 on Twitch was the battle with the vampire. The heroes went back to Emerald Tower. Cyrus and Carol kind of figured out who each other were. And Max Mars offered Carol a place to stay and a stipend until she figures things out. And that episode ended with someone in the lobby claiming to be Kione's mother.
Who turned out to be my grandmother.
Who turned out to be your grandmother.
Dirty
Yep.
liar.
None of us like her.
No.
None of you guys could hear her, so You as
No, we definitely
people.
could.
you as people don't like her, but the characters don't know anything other than what Keone told her, which Keone did not relay a good message.
No, pretty sure we were spying on you.
I'm pretty sure they were, yeah. They
And
weren't
by
in
we-
the lobby with you, but they were listening in.
For
Yeah,
the
but
record, Ethan
we-
was not. He was respecting her privacy.
I mean, Seth was like, what's going on? And I'm pretty sure he had encouragement from his not wife.
I certainly
In
don't
that
encourage
endeavor.
such reckless and irresponsible and intrusive. I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Uh-huh.
You
exactly
can't
that.
get through that sentence.
Who's a liar now?
So from dealing with meeting the grandmother and all of that, the heroes had a little bit of downtime. Portal and Tommy made plans to talk. And then there was the jailbreak.
Good Lord, we get like 4 seconds of personal time until it like aggressively moves to something else.
I mean, I said that there was
Welcome.
at least a week that passed. It was just that, game time. Yeah, we went straight to the jailbreak.
Welcome to being a superhero.
Yep.
Can Keone go back to being a supervillain? I should make her a supervillain.
No, and also
Maybe
back.
Yeah, back.
Right.
Well, originally when I made the character, she was coming from the character I made on DC Universe. And in DC Universe, she is a villain.
Ah.
So
That checks out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
A whole lot of things make sense. But yeah, so jailbreak. Anyone want to sum up the jailbreak?
That
It
ninja
sucked.
The ninja sucked.
It was a really convenient way for Carol to meet all of our villains at once.
Yes, it was. It definitely was that.
She's definitely like, why were all of these in one location?
Not just that,
Well-
she's like, why does this feel like Gotham? Like there's like 90 supervillains.
We didn't have control over where they put them all. We
It
just
was
catch
only
them.
about like 18, but
Like 18 superpowered beings just blowing apart a prison and escaping on platforms and with nanites and stuff.
For
I
the
mean,
record, 18
that
is a lot.
That is where I gained my nemesis,
That's where I lost my nemesis.
my first nemesis, I should say.
Is that really your first one?
Yeah,
Huh.
that
You're
I'm aware
saying-
of.
You're saying Seth hadn't pissed off someone bad enough before then to be a nemesis?
yeah.
I think with Seth, it's more somebody hadn't pissed Seth off enough to become a nemesis. I'm
Yeah,
sure
that's it.
Seth has a lot of one-sided nemesis relationships.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
He has a list and nobody knows they're on it.
Dude, you're not my nemesis.
You're not my nemesis.
Suppose I would hate you if I gave you any thought.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Prison Break, a whole lot of supervillains got released. The heroes did manage to stop some of them from escaping.
Converted one? Kind of?
Huh?
No, it was
Is it
like
converted
5 of we stopped like 5 of them.
You kept Captain Oblivion from escaping. You kept Cannon from escaping. I think you guys had also taken down Mongoose there.
Trinity.
Yeah, I think that was. I think I
We
won
put down like almost everyone. I think Ninja escaped because
Ninja.
Ninja. 2 others escaped,
The speedster escaped. The
Yeah,
like
Speedster
flame person
escaped.
escaped.
and the Ninja.
Rubber Bandit escaped. Apex escaped. Death Magnetic escaped.
Oh, Rubber Bandit's my favorite.
Rubber Bandit didn't escape. We let him go.
Okay.
He needs a really good catchphrase.
But no, I mean you ended up catching almost all of them then when you guys later on fought the big brain. But quite a few did escape from the prison, but you did stop a couple from escaping.
I think it was 5 total.
That sounds
in the
about
end.
right.
You know what? As far as Porter remembered, we stopped them all. I don't know what you're all
Yes.
talking
Well,
about.
Portal's
Yeah.
memory always has been faulty.
Captain Oblivion and Trinity definitely. Cannon definitely.
We caught Trinity, but didn't we bring her with us?
Yep, she came to the tower with us.
Yeah.
Came back to the tower with you guys because she was willing to basically.
She turned state's evidence.
Yeah.
Who was the big woman that Carol knocked out? Was that Mongoose? No, Mongoose is a dude, right?
Mongoose is a woman, but there was also a steel woman that Carol knocked out.
Okay, so yeah, I think that makes up the 5 that I'm thinking.
I thought you also stopped Octoman, but at the prison. But
I think we did, but I think it was because he couldn't get out. Like he kept going through. I think he got
Portal.
stuck in a portal that kept
Something.
dropping him
Oh, I think
to.
you're right.
No, I think what it was is like, yeah, Portal caught him in a loop and then opened it up in front of me and I punched him.
Yeah, That sounds
about
right.
That sounds about right. So that
And
was
why don't we do that more often?
That was a really good plan.
so moving after the prison break. You guys interrogated them. Trinity said that she turned state's evidence and is getting the heck out of Emerald City because now the big brain is almost certainly going to try to kill her. And Wiki did her best to make sure that the big brain wants to kill Cannon.
I don't know of what you speak.
Right. So you guys left off there, went back to the Emerald Tower. Tommy and Peter had their date where Peter was absolutely convinced Tommy was going to break up with him.
And Tommy was absolutely convinced that Peter was going to break up with him.
Yep. At the same time, Keone and Crucible went to the reception at Emerald Tower, and Professor C and Doc Irons spied on everyone.
We also had a lovely little dance.
We eventually went to the...
Later dawn, you guys went down, yes.
Was that before or after Keone flipped out? I seem to remember lots of flurries.
Yes.
I don't remember her flipping out during the reception.
No, not at the reception, but after her grandmother, she had her first, like, poof.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, right. Yes. Yep. No.
Yes, we had to make her a scenario in the training room where she could beat her grandmother up for a while so she'd calm down.
But no, the snow flurries were when Ethan and I were dancing. She made snow flurries around just them, like as they were dancing.
Right.
That was what it wasn't like I made.
I think that must be what I'm remembering.
That was a really good palate cleanser. That was a really good palate cleanser after she flirted with my dad.
That is accurate. I did flirt with your dad.
That and the giant ice dome you created when the shit hit the fan.
Correct.
I was remembering the pair of those two things.
But yeah, she was like, they like danced, twirled up while snow flurries were happening. She's Cinderella, that bitch.
Yep. And that was also when when Peter found out that Raven 3 was in town.
Did he know that there was a Raven 3 at that point, or was it just a hey, by the way?
Yes, you did. You'd seen on the news about the new Raven.
Yep. That's how I found out that my mentor had chosen someone
else.
I want to see a what if issue or what if Portal was Raven 3.
Oh god, that would be amazing and terrible all at once.
It'd be a fun
one shot, anyone?
It'd be a fun one.
I was gonna say that would be fun to do random one shots of us doing what if moments.
Yeah. But then Foe attacked the reception.
Rude.
All the glass in the lobby started was shattered, raining death down onto the people there. Max Mars got kidnapped, and yeah. So that was fun. The heroes did what heroes do, but
I think Max is our damsel.
Pretty much.
He's always getting in trouble.
He's the Daphne to our Scoot too.
We're always like, oh great, must be Tuesday, time to go save Max.
What have you done wrong this time?
Max and Daedalus talk about it together.
Yeah.
You've had to save him 3 times.
In 4 months.
He's the only person we've had to save that many times.
That's true.
He and Daedalus have started
Ethan. You may have had to save Ethan more than 3 times.
Yeah, but we usually only have to save Ethan from himself.
If things had worked out differently with Howard, you guys would have had to have saved Lisa far more times than that.
Yeah, from herself.
From herself. But
no, I'm convinced that Daedalus and Max have now started a support group for
Hammond, I thought we were superheroes.
Repeated kidnap victim support group.
Well, the great thing about those super geniuses who wear battle suits is if you can get them out of their battle suits, they're quite easy to kidnap.
Yeah.
So,
at least when they're being written in something other than their own title.
Right.
Because in their own title, someone tries to kidnap them outside of the suit, and they just wipe the floor with them.
Right. I mean, it's the Superman problem. The difference of Superman on Superman the Animated Series and Superman in Justice League.
Sunburn.
Right. Exactly. So you saved the people in the lobby. You were getting ready to Portal for the first time started exploring the dimension tracking abilities of his powers. But before you could start to track that down, you found out that there were 3 crimes happening at the same time.
Also,
And
by the way,
what?
Also, by the way, I'm sure we're all agree that nothing can possibly go wrong. There's no kind of interference between me being a key to this reality and my ability to now interact with other dimensions. That there's nothing that's going to go horribly wrong with that.
No, I'm sure that's fine.
But before you guys could go deal with the 3 simultaneous crimes, that was when Professor C gave a gift, an early Christmas gift, to Tommy.
I mean,
oh yeah, that's right, because Carol had done the super leap, grabbed Tommy off the street from the date, and was like, "You got to come with us."
Right. So yeah, Tommy becomes Overwatch.
To be fair, I want to be clear. Seth was not keeping that a secret. He just didn't tell anyone.
It was a lie by omission.
I was going to say that.
No. If someone had come and asked, "Hey, what are you working on?" he would have said, "Oh, I'm working on Tommy's suit."
Hey, by any chance, are you working on a super suit for Tommy? Why, yes, I am.
I mean, if you guys hadn't, if Wiki hadn't jumped on that grenade, Tommy was going to get a super suit made by Max.
Yeah.
That does not sound as safe.
Because it was also a little bit in Seth's mind, it was a little bit of, this is if Tommy wants people to know, he'll tell people. It's not really my
Tommy didn't tell anyone either.
To tell.
Yeah. He did not.
I don't want to say secret because again, he didn't really look at it as like a secret. He's just not used to outside of working with a team on a project, he's not used to sharing his work just as a matter of course. He just does it. No, he actually plays very well with others when it's part of the job. Like if he had needed someone to work with him on building the suit, they would have all of the information because they'd be working on the project. Because that's how science works. So, it was partially that, and partially he thought if Tommy wanted people to know, Tommy would tell people.
So yeah, Cyrus is very good at working well with others when science.
Anywho,
parenting.
So, crime wave. There was a break-in at the art museum. There was an attack on the Diamond District, and there was a shipping container that had been lifted into the air and flown away. And the team did the brilliant idea of, let's split the party.
There were actually 4 things happening, were there not?
Well, and the 4th thing was you sent Tommy to try to track where Max was.
Right.
But he stopped and waited. He did not go in.
Well, because, we told him I believe it was, if you go in, we will take your suit back.
Basically.
I'm sure there was also a bit of, if you go in, you will be newly single.
Yeah. So the crime wave, that went with mixed results.
We did call in reinforcements for the museum.
You got Mongrel and Raven to go deal with the art museum. And then several of you went to the Diamond District, and several of you went to deal with the shipping container. The Diamond District, you guys caught about half of the villains on site. Although Lord Quake and Apex notably managed to escape. But I think you caught everyone else there.
That was Carol, Keone, and Portal.
Yes.
Because Crucible and
Seth were dealing with
yeah.
I think that was the first time I was knocked out by somebody that wasn't Ethan.
I think you're right.
That is correct. You got kicked in the face.
Yeah, that dragon dude kicked me so hard.
Yeah, the son of the dragon managed to, kick you straight into incapacitated.
After Death Magnetic turned my armor off.
After Death Magnetic turned your armor off.
I was holding you when you got kicked in the face.
Yeah.
All I remember was, for some reason, Lord Quake was really pissing me off.
Yeah, I don't remember why, but he was.
Was that before or after I pissed on him? When did that happen?
I thought you pissed on him during the prison break.
Yeah, that might have been right.
Oh.
Well, I was like, he looks like he's made of dirt. Let's see if we can turn him into mud.
Yeah. Not so much.
I mean, you know.
I think it might have been just the fact that he soaked everything you guys threw at him.
That might be it.
But the shipping container, you did prevent Dreadnought from getting the high-tech weapons. You destroyed the high-tech weapons, and
whatever. They got more.
And Ethan got his ass knocked out, but
he got to go swimming under the sea too.
Yes.
I know why he kept pissing you off. He kept trying to get Keone to come be his queen.
Oh yeah, there was that too.
Yeah, that's right. Because we were the elements.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then after those 3 crimes were dealt with, we did dealt with the art museum off camera. Raven and Mongrel managed to capture some of the villains there, prevent the theft, and several of the villains got away, including the ninja.
Ninja.
Stupid ninja's still out there.
Stupid Ninja is still out there. He may not still be in Emerald City, but he is still out there. And then you guys went to the chamber to rescue Max and deal with the big brain, who might be Ethan's father.
Really obvious trap.
He might be Ethan's father.
He's 100% Ethan's father.
I still 150,000% think that he is a supervillain.
Well, I only think. I'm pretty sure we're at no at this point.
No, I think that whole meeting thing, that I think that's a.
That final conversation where he got sloshed in front of Ethan and had to be carried to bed, like that, that did not bode well.
That was fake.
That was like the last cordial
I don't believe it.
before shit goes down. Oh, sorry.
Lies and deceptions.
Maybe he is the big brain. I've already thrown a sword into my dad's brain.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves because.
Sorry.
So the battle with the big brain and the assembled forces of foe, which was probably the biggest fight I've ever dealt with.
That was a lot.
I don't know. I mean, at least up until that point, because a few months later, you're gonna have the Stormbreakers, the Guardians, and like 3 Metro.
100.
No, I'm still going to say that the battle against foe and the big brain was probably the biggest battle with multiple characters for me to keep track of. I made several of them count as minions, but that was still a lot. But you guys also did manage to triumph. You knocked out almost everyone, sent the big brain running, saved Max. Ethan got to, throw Nightblade's sword into the big brain's brain. Which
Aaron, can I have that sword in season 2?
Sure.
Yes.
Why? Now I know how season 2 ends. Ethan's gonna go from room to room, just shut.
Look, I wanted the sword after that episode, but I think Aaron said
No,
don't spend
what
points on
that's
that.
going to do is ensure that somebody comes to collect his sword.
So after dealing with the big brain and the forces of foe, the heroes got to have some downtime. And Peter and Tommy got to spend some time together figuring out the details
of sex.
They had a lot of sex. Cindy went back into her efforts to get into the restricted section of the library.
Oh yeah.
It went so well.
When Portal is your voice of reason. Portal.
She got in there at some point.
She did get in there.
Yes, she did, but after everybody thought she was trying to poop in the corner.
Cyrus and Carol started checking up on their son.
And it was terrible.
And it was terrible. That was when we found out that Damien is dealing drugs.
Yeah. We never did get to the school.
No.
No, you revealed your identity before you could do that.
Yeah.
And Ethan had a day of
reckoning.
Well, it was finals, so we found out that Tommy is willing to use his super suit to hack people's grades.
Keone loved it.
That was not intended.
To be fair, he could have hacked to get his grades without the super suit.
True, but
Cindy loved it.
I mean,
he also didn't need to hack his own grades. It was really more about making sure that Cindy passed.
Well, did he hack his final though, so that he didn't have to go take it?
He did. He hacked his final so that he didn't have to bother taking it. But it's not like he would have had trouble passing it if he'd gone.
Yeah.
However you justify it.
Ethan knew Cindy needed help, so he asked.
Work harder, not smarter.
So
work smarter, not harder.
Ethan got to talk to Tommy. Ethan got to have his first heart-to-heart with his dad and tell him that he was not going to go into either business or science, or, as we all expected, into art, but instead into social work.
That whole episode was one of my favorite episodes this season.
Yeah, no, that was a great episode.
Yeah, Trauma Bus.
You also got to tell Rhea that you're a superhero and that her brother is a supervillain.
The string of terrible decisions just continues.
What did he do he did something with Keone.
Yeah, he had a date with Keone.
It wasn't a date.
A not date. It was a
not date.
Ethan thought it was a date.
It was
they were
a date.
meeting up for dinner at the Mexican restaurant.
That was the first time Ethan shot his shot, and Keone said, "We haven't been on a date before." And Ethan looked around where they were at that exact moment.
And while Ethan and Cindy were on their date that was not a date, the rest of the heroes decided, hey, let's go down to Redshift Energies and see if they can tell us anything about the nanites.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of something we were in the middle of. We should probably go do that.
Yeah. So you managed to find out that the nanites that Redshift was using were related to a clean energy project based on Max Mars's tech, and that, as best anyone at Redshift could tell, the nanites that became the Silver Storm came out of nowhere. Because of some very, very high-end hacking. So you guys went back to the base. Personal stuff happened, and then the next day there was an attack at Redshift. And that was the first time you guys saw Stormers with their eyes glazed over silver being controlled. And they were tearing apart Redshift looking for
Something.
what turned out to be another canister of the Silver Storm nanites. And that episode ended with Ethan doing something incredibly brave and stupid.
It ended with Ethan
Of
being
course.
Ethan. What?
As he took his helmet off and put it on Singularity.
I saved that kid's life.
You did until
And then
you.
immediately you
No,
tried to crush
no.
his head.
You
Yeah.
instantly tried to kill him. Instantly.
Glazing over that.
No,
Uh-huh,
absolutely not glazing over it because Carol
Uh-huh.
was ready to kill you to defend the
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. And that
No.
was only the first time you tried to kill a teenager, by the by.
Yeah. yeah.
When's the other time Ethan tried to kill a teenager?
I'm pretty sure you tried to kill him again.
On the platform.
Yeah.
Did I?
I'm pretty sure.
Tried to crush your helmet on him.
Well, that was the first time.
That was,
But
That was
yeah,
the first time.
was the.
I'm pretty sure I tried to do it again too.
This
Yeah.
is when we found out that Ethan as a villain, Ethan is like Angelus, but his other side is an angel. His other side is one of the members of the trio.
Hey, technically Lucifer was an angel, so I mean.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. So the next episode, Alex didn't get to play Ethan. Alex got to play Singularity.
Which was also great.
And
Which
drive
was-
us insane.
That was what I'm thinking. He tried to turn Singularity and tried to turn somebody inside out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember I was like,
Singu-
something weird happened, and I couldn't remember
Yeah.
what it was. That's what-
Singularity forced Portal to be the adult in the room, and he will never forgive him for that.
I mean,
Um,
Seth enjoyed Singularity because he just did.
I thought it was adorable.
Yeah. I liked the whole
You didn't see him try and turn someone inside out.
yeah, so
He tried that more than once on Carol, and she was just like, "Stop that! No. Put that down. You don't know what you're doing."
Right. So, from talking to Singularity, you guys managed to find out about the existence of the commander and the fact that they were there looking for the nanites. I think that it was also the time that you first realized that the nanites, in addition to being able to activate people's metagenes, are also able to control people's minds. Well, actually, no, they can't control people's minds. They can control their bodies. But
Oh yeah.
So wait,
they
are
shut.
they conscious and aware when this is going on?
Well, remember, like when Singularity was talking about it, like he kind of did. Like,
They basically get cut off from their.
Yeah, didn't
Shunted.
you say it was like
They
he
get-
was watching himself do stuff?
yeah.
They get
In
shunted
moments,
into their
but
subconscious.
for the most part, they were unaware because being cut off from your body also means being cut off from your sense organs.
Yeah. They basically get shunted into their own subconscious.
Yeah. With little flashes of what was happening. And yeah, that was also when you found out, like I said, that the person who was controlling these stormers was calling themselves the commander, which certainly did nothing to make you guys trust Max more.
I neither trust nor distrust Max.
Carol mistrusts him completely still.
I'm aware. Um,
And now Max is aware as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
um,
Had a moment to breathe and went, "I don't like you."
so why don't we pause the recap there and hit another question? Because we've got more.
Cool.
Questions.
All right. How significantly, if at all, has your character changed from their initial concept after playing through this season of the campaign? And this time I will not start with Joe. I will
I
start.
can't answer that question very well, anyways.
Yeah, because you came in halfway through. I will start with Brandon.
Well, wow. Portal did not end up being anything like I first imagined him. Originally, he was going to be kind of this earnesty, like Peter Parker, but also trying to redeem himself, and angsty, but not like dark, but just earnest kind of angst. And was working with a nonprofit that was all about anti-recidivism and stuff. And all of that shit went right out the window within like the first 2 games. And it was so weird because I got into the character and I was like, wow, I had him pegged all wrong. And trust me, Portal knows a thing or two about pegging.
Nope. Didn't need to know that.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking it.
Well, then you get to answer it next, Alex.
Fair. Ethan also didn't play the way I thought he was going to be. My intention was to be sort of a cool and aloof Magneto type, and then Ethan was a doofus. Immediately a doofus. Like, there wasn't even a moment where I was like, okay, I'm cool. No, I mean, there were a couple of moments throughout the story where Ethan was cool, but mostly in spite of himself rather than because of stuff he did consciously. Although I like how he has matured throughout the course of the story. I thought he was going to be sort of just a serious person who was sort of introspective and thought about his art a lot, and I also assumed he was going to be in an NPC relationship with Reyna, but
Nope.
Keone latched onto him, and I was like, okay, I'm here for it. Because
I mean,
I will say, as a GM, that was certainly the one place where I was like, well, that was a NPC relationship I was planning on developing, but the game seems to be going in another direction, and I'm not going to get in the way of it.
for a half a second, I entertained the idea of Ethan trying to date both of them, but
Ethan is not slick enough to pull that off.
no.
Imagine that. Keone, A, wouldn't care, but B, also she'd kill her. And then Ethan. So there
I
would
know. I love that. I totally don't care. Stab, 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 stab.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you want to pass that to, Alex?
I'll pass it to Aunt Puppy.
Keone is exactly what I thought she would be. Mainly because I had already relatively developed a backstory with her because I'd been playing that character on DC Universe for like over a year. So I'd already kind of in my head, like, you don't really talk all that much in the game. For anyone that's never played it, you essentially create your own superhero and you get to play with a mentor, and then you go around and do like different crime things. Well, Keone did different crime things because she was a villain, but you can also play a hero and do superhero-y safe things. So I'd already in my head kind of given her a story outside of just the game, just because, you know, when the characters would talk, like your character doesn't talk back, but I would talk back to the characters while I was playing. Play a lot of games by myself. And
it sounds like we need an Aunt Puppy DC Universe.
So you really did just wake up and choose violence.
Yeah. So it was kind of developed from that, and then developed from the point of where she always thinks of herself as a hero, but she definitely toes very closely to the line of supervillain.
Yeah, we're aware.
Yeah, and I feel that as a human in general. Look, the first thought when I'm driving in traffic is not, I wish I had Magneto's powers so I could go around all of this. It's, I would like to use it to crush all of the cars that are doing terrible things. Like, and just move them out of the way, like throw them around. Like, I don't even want to deal with it. Like, I just want them out of my way.
I
Yep.
want
Keone-
Klingon. I want
Keone is
Klingon
the-
disruptors.
Keone is the kind of person that, really justifies the rule that Jedi can't have children because they wouldn't survive toddlerhood.
So I had already kind of developed that aspect of her. I think the only real part of her that kind of changed-ish was I always intended for her to not have any connections to anybody. So I had always kind of intended for her, not even like the team, like I intended for her to be like them to know literally nothing about her other than
Really hard.
yeah, other than her hero name, and that's it. Like she had never intended to show what she looked like outside of her superhero outfit, like nothing. Like it was going to be full on blind.
And then she woke up in a bed with 3 of her teammates.
Right. Well, and then she learned very quickly that being
You
of
can't
similar
do that.
age to some of the other characters, I couldn't do that. It wasn't possible. I didn't trust any of them, so I had to spy on them. But then by spying on them, I also gave myself away. So it was kind of that
You're
was
not
really
a
the
very
only part.
or not you. Keone isn't a very sneaky person to like keep
Hers-
anything hidden.
Keone literally left her clothes at Ethan's house the first time she went
Yes.
there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Keone is one of those people who thinks they're hidden.
Yeah.
She actually rolled
I
a
am
2.
moving so slow you can't.
Yeah,
perceive
yeah.
it.
Although her stealth is very high, by the way.
No, I'm just saying she like thinks she's.
But yeah, like
That's
that was kind of
interesting. I did not tag her as being so uber violent at the very beginning. Now, like what, an hour in, that became clear, but
well, I think part of that was because she never got to use her powers really. So I think it was more of that intention was that she didn't really know how much her being upset about someone doing something shitty affected how her powers worked and how she could use her powers. Like, someone, to me, it was like someone, she didn't think, oh, I'm like super pissed, I'm going to throw a snowball at somebody. Like, yeah, like a normal person would be like, they'd lob a snowball at somebody. But, in her mind, like she is lobbing it, but really she is like ice spearing it straight to their brain. Like she didn't really know the difference because she never got to use her powers in that context. Her parents, her parents never like stopped her from using them, but she never really got to use them to their potential because she didn't know how to.
Yep.
So that was kind of where the anger in her and being upset about stuff kind of drove that. So she was, other than the never wanting to tell anybody who she was, other than that, like really she's exactly kind of the character I developed, after a year or two of playing her on DC Universe. So it kind of helped. So mostly it's just character growth now.
So Wiki, tell us about Seth.
No, Seth is pretty much exactly what I thought he'd be. He really has not changed from concept to playing because I think I knew pretty well who he was before I put him in the game. Okay, so the original concept.
I would point out though that I do think that having Carol enter the game.
Oh yeah. No, that has hastened where I thought he would go. Like I even had in mind how I thought he would probably develop. Because so for 2 years he's been an octopus and he hasn't had human contact. So
that sounds like a very healthy place to be.
For lack of a better term, he went a little bit feral. Like he's sort of
become the octopus.
He's sort of sunk deeper into the
Octopi.
the animal nature of the body he was in, because also he's not the only consciousness in that body. So a lot of
I'm picturing the origin issue, and if an octopus I must be, then let me be an octopus.
yeah, he had to
very,
spend like
Bruce
6
Vanderpump,
months.
like,
Yeah.
He had to spend like 6 months just getting used to the fact that well, what is happening? Why is this arm still moving?
I want to
Because,
see
you know-
I want to see Alara talk to the octopus and have the octopus be like, "I miss my family. Like, I've been on land for 2 years with this guy."
Not
I
just
mean-
on land. I've been in this like weird aquarium
Yeah.
People keep trying to kill me.
in other dimensions, and
The octopus has made appearances during stream.
It has.
Whether you reduce like shell on the head or
So, but he had to get used to. I have 8 arms. They all have different brains that operate that. Like he had to spend 6 months just learning to be in that body.
Was
And-
the octopus the one that was excited about the gift Ethan gave him?
I mean, they were both excited, but that was one of the major points in which the octopus came forward. That whole episode, actually. So, I mean, there was still a lot of stuff in there, but that is one of the points in which the octopus really pushed forward.
that was an octopus heavy episode.
Yes. But so, he spent 2 years basically as an animal and no real human contact. His family was out of reach. His wife's dead. He's pretty sure that, people have essentially murdered him and his wife, and he was not in a good place. So 2 years later, he comes in and starts peopling again. And I figured eventually his humanity would start to reemerge, as it were. And Carol's arrival definitely hastened that. So he's definitely more on track to be in touch with his right. I'm not actually an octopus. I am a human. I should probably do something about that. So, but more or less, he is who I designed him to be. So.
And Joe, you didn't get as much time with Carol as everyone else did, but did she change much from concept to
I feel like I can only half answer that question because Carol wasn't my concept. I had the really unique opportunity in joining the game when I did and how I did that Wiki offered this character, essentially like a dead NPC of like, this is how we can get you into the universe. And I was like, hells yeah.
I was
And
like,
the
come,
only thing-
come be my wife.
Yeah, and I was like,
Will you
"Oh,
marry me?
of course, I will come be your wife. Par for the course, apparently, with our friendship.
I mean, if you had not wanted to play Carol, there were lots of other ways we could have worked you into the game.
Sure, but I absolutely loved the concept of Cyrus and like the dynamic of my dead wife is alive again. No complications. Like, yes, that's
Drama.
That's some cliche manga nonsense right there. Yes, I'm here for it.
And then Alex threw the whole being in the netherworld and
Yeah, like
That
how
came
you
from
get all the
Alex.
years. Like I got 10 years in the netherworld from Alex for the crossover, and like this is the idea of who his wife was. And but she
wait, hold on a
That
minute.
sounds like Alex.
I was just saying, are we saying that Alex gave Carol extra trauma?
actually, behind the scenes, I feel like I gave Carol far more trauma than Alex did.
Alex
Like-
is innocent of this crime.
What
Lies and
This
deception.
time.
the thing is like the only thing Alex told me was she spent like 10 years in the netherworld and that's how she can get to this timeline. I don't know really what the netherworld means to Alex and
She spent like 10 years in hell. She's fine.
well, yeah, and it's like
No
I'm
trauma
sure
whatsoever.
my concept of hell is absolutely inaccurate to like the in canon netherworld hell, but I definitely like re-envisioned a completely new kind of hellscape place and like all these things that Carol went through that I have not talked about at all. It's just like when she gets quiet and like distant, like she is traumatized. Anyways, like I know I have done far more damage to Carol than Alex did by saying Netherworld for 10 years. But tangents aside, I took Wiki's base idea, little prompts from Alex and even Aaron on like how to get her here, and I was like, all I know is I went like beat 'em up powers similar to Jessica Jones. Like I'm gonna take your
remember that.
really sweet, like super smart wife and just make her angry as fuck. And somehow that became Murder Mama, that she was like, I will tear down the earth to protect everyone. That doesn't make sense, but okay. So that was a fun puzzle to solve. And I guess the most interesting thing is like how insanely protective she became towards the 3 college students that she's
The
pretty
children.
guarded about things, but like surrogate children that aren't actually mine. I don't have to deal with like my kind of biological children here because I don't know how to handle that. I know how to handle these 3 crazy ones right here.
Hey, I resemble that
Technically, only
remark.
2 of them are college students. Portal
Yeah.
is not a college student. He's college aged, but he's not a college student.
Technically,
I don't
there's
think
no name
Carol
anymore.
realizes any of that.
Okay.
Carol honestly thinks all 3 of them go to college together. Well, four with Tommy there.
Yeah, just
All
Tommy.
4 of them go to college together. She does not realize Portal doesn't go to college. She would have issue with that. But yeah, I mean, I think with the situation and everything, like Carol is maybe more brutal than I originally intended, but way more motherly as well. That's about the only difference. But otherwise, I think Wiki could answer that question more so of like the original Carol concept of what has happened with Irons.
I mean, no, I did. Okay, so Carol as a concept didn't, she was kind of a nebulous, he had a wife and she did these things. So she, as a concept, was kind of nebulous in that I wanted to leave room for story to be inserted into that character if necessary. So, but I think that if I had a picture of Carol, it would be pretty close to the Carol that we have, just without the superpowers and the 10 years in hell.
Oh, yeah.
Or-
I mean,
Murder Mama, less murder.
yes,
Well,
but
probably
his
more
Carol-
like espionage.
a little bit, kind of Hawkeye's wife,
Sure.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
I feel that vibe.
That makes sense. With the ageist background and all that jazz.
A little bit of that, and a little bit of, like, if you took her and you took like Ma Kent and you kind of squished them together personality wise.
Yeah, no, that 10 years in hell, definitely.
Yeah,
Crush the Ma Kent out of her.
I want to see Ma Kent go to hell.
I mean, I don't think it crushed it out of her, actually.
No.
It's definitely still there.
Yeah, no, that motherly side of her.
Although Portal is like desperate to get people to stop trying to adopt him.
Look, he's gonna have to deal with his
I'm a whole ass adult.
daddy issues.
I have been looking after myself.
You are actually not a whole ass adult. You just think you are.
Which is funny because Kione is like, I want a mommy and daddy here, please. Because she misses her mom and dad so much. I love the fact though that Kione and Portal came from completely different backgrounds and ended up as completely opposite people.
Yeah.
Like, Portal gets a nice passive power. Kione gets a not so passive power.
I also love that Kione and Portal got to go to the wrong Thanksgiving.
Yes. That was where I was about to go,
Yeah.
That Portal is very uncomfortable around functional families.
Yeah. I actually, that's part of what I really like in the dynamic between Seth and Peter, is that Seth is not actually trying to be a surrogate dad. That he's literally not doing, that's not what he's trying to do. But Peter has his parent issues, his daddy issues are so strong that he doesn't understand that all he sees is this older person trying to tell me what to do.
This prick keeps calling me a child.
Well, because to Seth, you are a child.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you're my kid. It doesn't mean I want to be your parent. It means I'm asking you to become a whole ass adult. But that's part of what I like about their dynamic, is that they're basically like shooting past each other. Like
they do not get each other at all. And it creates some really wonderful moments.
It is one of the things that makes me so sad about, I mean, I'm sad because Howard was my friend, but the dynamic of Bulwark, I think, would have changed how that relationship has developed if Bulwark had stayed around. But
yeah, because Bulwark was very consciously trying to be a father figure.
But yeah, I would have liked to see how that would. Like I said, I mean, my sadness is much more because I miss Howard, but I do wish I could have seen how that would have played out.
Well, but it's funny though, because it's like, without even knowing it, Joe kept that influence going.
True.
That honest, I want to be a parental figure, I want to support you, I want you to heal and be happy kind of thing. And he is just as confused by her doing it as he is when he was doing it.
Yeah. So it is about 8:30. Do we want to take a quick 5 minutes and then come back and dive back into the recap? Or do we just want to plow through?
Either way works for me.
I could pee also.
All right, we're going to take a quick 5, and we will be back to finish the recap. We've got a few more questions. We would be happy to get any other questions dropped in the chat. And then I would also like to ask the players if there are any questions that they're wondering about from all of the weirdness that happened over last season that they never got an answer to. Not all of which I can answer, but some of which I probably can. So, all right, so we'll be back in a few.
Give to us your questions.
Back.
And welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us through our break as we are doing our recap wrap session of City of Destiny.
I'm not very good at rapping. You probably don't want that.
All right, so let's Let's we've actually got some more questions in the chat, and those are far more fun than going through the rest of the recap. So
I mean, we should still go through the rest of the recap.
well, no, I was gonna say let's just speed through the rest of the recap. So the rest of the recap, we had there was a disturbance out at Point Forces where those mind-controlled stormers were attacking the platform. The heroes went out to intercede, and while they were there and fighting the mind-controlled stormers, suddenly a giant alien spacecraft came up from under the ocean.
As you know, as is wont to happen.
Yep.
Which also seemed to disrupt the mind control, at least temporarily. The heroes took the known criminals back to jail, so Rubber Bandit and... No, that's right. She still escaped, didn't she? The Speedster still escaped.
Yeah.
Yes.
She always gets away.
Yeah.
She's off somewhere with strike.
Yeah, none of us are fast enough.
Yeah, but you took Chain, Tenfold, Singularity, and Epiphany Jones back to the Emerald Tower and continued to dig into everything. Realized that it might be possible to create a feedback device to disrupt the control. Got to a chat with the commander. That was fun. And then
Got blown up by the commander.
Got blown up by the commander. Max took you to his lab where you guys were going to develop a Uber jammer. And then you got zarked into outer space. Well, first, Max's lab was attacked by the Stormers and the alien spacecraft, and then you got zarked into outer space.
And the underground facility got ripped above ground.
Right. Yes.
Minor details.
Yes. So in space, you got to meet the lore and what was left of their empire, or republic, and stopped the Praetor from being assassinated by a Gru, which really
He
made
was
me
not
sad.
eaten by a Gru.
He was not eaten by a Gru. And then we had our crossover as the Guardians of Haven came out to join you, where you got to learn all about the Preservers.
Where I met my second nemesis,
Who's your second nemesis?
Daedalus.
All right.
Hate that guy. I got to give him a sick burn.
Of sorts. And then Collapsar arrived, heralded by Horizon, who, seeing the assemblage of heroes, made 2 duplicates of himself. A fight ensued, an epic fight, I might say. There was some big damn hero moments of people pushing their powers to the limits to attack Horizon.
Or send people to other dimensions.
Or send other people to another dimension.
Oops.
Trying to save people from Magnalore. And they were saved. They just didn't end up where you expected to put them.
Yeah, I mean, count that as a win.
Yeah. I mean, they're
No,
still...
don't count that as a win yet. Because I know where they are.
Right. You still need to share that with us, but...
we'll get there.
Yeah, I know.
Sometime around the end of August.
And just as you're like, hey, we actually are able to defeat these Horizons, he made 4 more of himself. At which point it was like, oh, we're all going to die.
Cheating, honestly.
That was a nope moment for
That
sure.
wasn't my bad. That wasn't my bad, guys.
Right, yes, because that was Keone's, we can do this all day.
I was like, we could do this all day.
I think that's the right way too. You said we could do this all day, and then Aaron said, and he turns into 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes."
Well, I was, and then you asked that question. So you came back, and that was when you found out that the Silver Storm was, in fact, Telax's plan to create an army of superpowered beings to go destroy Collapsar. And he was like, you guys impressed me. I'm willing to make you my lieutenants, and you can even keep your free will.
He said generals.
Okay, fine.
Whatever.
Calvin saying we could have taken the Horizons.
Sure.
No.
No.
That Calvin is a brave man.
We'll leave just the Guardians to take care of him and see how.
You did leave just the Guardians to take care of them.
Not by choice.
Yeah,
Not by
we
choice.
get like zapped. Like that wasn't our fault.
But yeah, your response to Telax's offer to power you up and let you keep your free will as he turned all of humanity into his mind-controlled army of superpowered soldiers was basically fuck that noise.
And we said, hard no.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Alternately, we could not do that.
Or you could go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So,
No.
and you managed to hold off his superpowered army long enough for Professor C, with the assistance of Max, to create the jammer that has basically made Earth toxic to Telax and has completely disrupted the ability of the nanites to be used to control people, you think.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way that ended.
No.
What are you talking about?
That sentence. I didn't like
Yeah,
that.
that felt.
Yeah, that
That
you
felt
think
very
feels
ominous.
very non-definitive.
Yeah. I don't. That's no.
Do not like.
We're in danger.
And then we had our final episode where I dumped all sorts of plot threads on all of you guys.
Every
Yep.
single end credit scene.
And that brings us to here. What am I forgetting?
It was basically our Lord of the Rings, but it was only end credit scenes.
Yeah.
So I have a plot question, Aaron, that I was hoping you'd be able to clarify. When it comes to the nanites and all things nanites, which parts were Telax and which parts were Commander 2?
So Commander 2 is a Stormer with the same kind of technopathic abilities you gave to Damien. Commander 2 discovered, by examining the nanites in their bloodstream, the ability that was already programmed into the nanites to control people.
Are you saying there's a backdoor way for Damien to control Stormers?
Not anymore.
You said we think.
No, Daddy broke that toy.
Right. But in any case, so she was going to use it to, create an army of Stormers to take over Emerald City. And she was very interested in getting her hands on additional nanites so that she could create more Stormers that she could control. So the attack on Redshift was all the Commander. The attack on Point Forces was all the Commander, because she detected an incredibly large concentration of nanites underneath Point Forces.
Wonder why.
That just happened to be Telax.
Yeah.
When Telax rose out of the ocean, the Commander basically said, fuck, someone who has more control over the nanites than I do, I don't want them to piggyback and find that I've been doing this. And so she cut the control of the Stormers as soon as Telax rose.
Okay.
When you encountered the mind-controlled Stormers that were attacking Max's base and then we're defending Telax, that was obviously all Telax.
And
I
Telax
have
fought
a-
the original Silver Storm. All right.
I have a Commander 2 related question that you are definitely not going to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
Is she Riley or is she Diana?
You are 100% right. I'm not going to answer that.
Well, we
She's
tried.
Riley.
All right. Let's go to audience questions because those are fun. So Warden Maximus asks, what did you hope would happen in the game that never came through? Alex.
That's a tough question. I would have liked to have had a scene with Morris.
I would have liked to have done that too.
After I promised to come visit him in jail. I assume Ethan kept the promise because Ethan wouldn't miss that if he had a choice.
No.
But it didn't happen on screen, and I hope that can happen next season. Like that
I
might be
think
one
it
of
can.
Ethan's first scenes next season is coming from a meeting with Morris.
Yeah, I think that can happen. It is one of the things I did not love about the way that the adventure was written, which is that once you get on the attack at Redshift by the Stormers, there is very little time to divert off for anything. I would have liked to have thrown in some other side moments and maybe even a completely unrelated superhero plot there, but I could not figure out a way to do it and not really feel like I was disrupting the flow that was written. And disrupting it in ways that wouldn't have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
No, I would like to see that happen. It was a plot thread that I'm excited to explore.
Yeah.
And I'll pass it to Wiki.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have anything for that question because a lot of the plot threads that I'm hoping to explore are probably coming in season 2. So I don't really have an answer for that question other than season 2.
Yeah, why didn't season 2 happen during season 1?
I really meant watch season 2. But Joe?
I mean, I guess like I can't really ask for anything more than what I already got because of when Carol was thrown into the mix. I think she's still very, very new and she hasn't had a lot of screen time to fluff out the edges of things. And so season 2.
She needs to get fluffy.
Oh, I will say, I do wish we could have squeezed in the visit to the school because that would have been hilarious.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like, I wish maybe there had been like a couple of RP moments between Carol and Cyrus before the season break about like where they stood with each other and how they felt or didn't feel, because like I put this in my notes to Erin that she doesn't really know. Like she knows how she feels, but she's also going to respect this version of Cyrus, and she doesn't really know how he feels about things. And so
That sounds like an excellent start to season 2.
Yeah.
Hey, so now that our kids know we're alive,
How do we feel about each other?
uh,
I just say
Sort of.
I was sad that you didn't get to go to the school either.
were you wanting to play Damien while we were there?
Oh yeah, of
Oh,
course.
man. All right. I guess I should have known that answer, but
because one belligerent child is not enough. He's got to
No.
give me 2.
2 for the price of 1.
well, it doesn't help when we did the one shot. You ended up being the kid, anyways.
I know.
Damn. Whoops.
Yeah. And Puppy?
So, oh shit, I had mine and now I forget.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God, well, come back to me.
It's probably to do with your grandmother, would be my assumption.
No, I can't, oh. fuck.
Brandon?
Okay. So much like Wiki, I know that a lot of the stuff, and my dangling plot threads, are going to be picked up in season 2. So nothing that like, got overlooked or anything like that. But there is one thing that we just didn't, again, with the latter half of the season going boom, 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 boom. We didn't really have time to do, and that was that moment where, because of a technological glitch, Aaron didn't hear Brandon as Portal say to Tommy that he loved him, and so Tommy didn't reciprocate, and kind of like the accidental between us occurrence that just was gonna spiral Portal. But we just really didn't have time to kind of explore that dynamic, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Oh well. Portal
All
could
right.
freak out later.
And Puppy, back to you.
Oh, I didn't think of it.
Something about your ancestry, something about the Yeti slash Bigfoot.
Your brother, possibly your father, the Yeti.
No, it was something
And-
like, it was something that I intended to do, but
Stab someone.
we never did it.
Not
Murder
stab
someone?
I can't, for the life of me right now, even think of a little bit of it.
Okay.
I'll come up with something else.
No, it was like, oh my God. No, I'll think of it when we're thinking of something else. And I'll just randomly start yelling it. So
All right,
just
that's fine.
be ready for that.
So, Augerk asks, he has 2 questions. The first one is, in a zombie apocalypse, which one of the characters' powers would you want? And by that, I'm assuming which character's powers would you want to have in a zombie apocalypse? I know my answer, but... Alex?
Well, it depends on the rules of the zombie. Because
Valid.
Kione's powers would be hyper useful because she could freeze all of the fluid in their corpses, wash them out, and just leave them as big frozen icicles all over the place.
Ew.
And there wouldn't be a zombie problem.
Accurate.
But if they are magic zombies that are immune to environmental effects, like many appear to be in TV and other zombie genres, portals, just because I can always get away. And redirecting and warping the zombies into each other would just give me no endless amusement.
We're getting them stuck in a loop.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
Wiki?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Steph's. Because science, and also because I can just go into the ocean and not fucking deal with zombies.
Fair. Brandon?
I think it also depends on the rules. If they didn't have super strong superhuman bites. Oh, Aunt Puppy thought of it. What is
I
it?
did. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget it.
Okay.
Yeah, say it now.
No,
Okay.
I'll let you finish your thoughts.
That if they don't have like superhumanly strong bites, then I would say actually Carol. That you could just stroll around and just be like, "Hey, fuck you, zombie," and flick them in the head, and not have to worry about anything. But if they could manage, yeah. Every once in a while, she just like reached around, like there's like some head of a zombie gnawing on her shoulder. But if they had bites strong enough to actually break Carol's skin, then I'd go with Portal, because he can get the fuck out of there no matter what the situation is. There's no trapping him in a horde.
Okay. Joe?
I guess I'm quite happy with Carol's power set. Like, there's so many like out in the world things. But she has immunity to a lot of stuff. It doesn't come up with the game a lot. I'm constantly trying to insert it, but
Well, she could either not be bitten or just jump the fuck away.
yeah. I mean, like, even
Either
if,
attack or nope.
yeah, it's like even if they break her skin, and that's a huge if. Like, there's a good chance that she's just straight up not going to be affected by whatever necrotic poison. Venom.
Well, yeah, because you're immune to disease.
Yeah.
You're immune
I
to
don't
poison.
have to breathe.
You don't have to breathe, and you're immune to magic.
Yeah. So it's like if they're magic zombies, that I'm golden. Like, I think I'm gonna go with Carol.
She's just sitting out on the beach, like da 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 da. Go away. You're in my
it's
sun.
like, you're really light. You forgot you lost all muscle mass. You're just bones. Into the ocean you go. Bye.
And then I throw them back. I don't want them out here.
Get off my lawn, zombies.
And Puppy, answer this question, and then go ahead and answer the other question.
Okay, so the first question, the thing I wish would have played out was something that I wanted to do but didn't do. So I wanted to end the episode or the season with Keone doing something really dumb, which was just straight taking Ethan and going to the courthouse and just getting married without like any like rules of engagement of any kind, like just the dumbest thing she could possibly do. Not that marrying Ethan is dumb, but like, you know what I mean.
But
No, it's pretty
well,
dumb.
it's also the fact that she's still like, but we're not dating.
Yeah.
Right, like that just, it felt like that would be something super impulsive that she would do.
Look,
At like after all of the shit that they've gone through, like that would be a super impulsive thing that she would do.
even if or when Keone and Ethan get married, she's gonna be like, "Do you like me?" Like, we'll be 80 years old. She'll be like, "Are you sure?"
Don't like me. So that was the first question. So the second question, I would probably say that I would pick either Portals or Ethan's. I mean, Keone's are great and hers would be cool, but yeah, I mean, like if they're anything other than like actual humans that are raised from the dead, her powers aren't going to be as effective. But I think, I mean, Ethan could literally just take a ball bearing and just go through all of the zombie brains, just like whoosh, all through them, like, you know, like Yondu and his arrow. Like it would be easy peasy. And then obviously, you know, Portal, because it would just be really fun to just like put them in a constant loop of just like, I feel like they would be aware but confused and like just like circling around in the same spot over and over again would just be hilarious. That would be like the entertainment.
Also, like you can
Portal
take them out
would
into
come
the
up.
ocean and just like they just end up in the depths of the sea. That just like
Yeah, just
No,
like
this-
Stop
this-
sending
this-
them out here.
It's no longer the Pacific Garbage Patch. It's now the Pacific Zombie Patch.
yeah.
No, this is my home. I
You
came
need
out
your
here.
home.
I came out here. Yes, but it's my home. If I want to shit in it, I will.
Fish
I think-
peeing you all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Take a few
think
zombies.
Portal. I think Portal would definitely come up with more and more elaborate like tricks and stunts.
I was gonna say it'd be like Mousetrap. You just like
Yeah.
keep moving them all over the place.
Oh Lordy.
All right, so my answer is Ethan's. And the reason is that I'm not just concerned about how do I survive in a zombie apocalypse. I'm concerned about my wife and my children. And Ethan's powers, not only are you certainly able to deal with zombies that might happen to come near you, but with Ethan's powers, you can easily create a zombie-proof fortress and get people away and transport lots of people to a safe location and all of those things. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
Aaron,
and like Ethan,
think of all the cars you can move.
yeah, and like Ethan, everyone can have like little metal bracelets, and so that they're all like part of his little group, and like he can move them around whenever he needs to save them.
And that's how we turned him into actual Magneto.
I was like, can we make this a what if episode?
all right.
City of Destiny
Um,
zombies.
Zombies.
Agar has another question. What other comic book character would you like your character to have a team up with? Wiki.
Why? Why would you pick me?
I'll go. I'll volunteer to go first. I
All
don't
right,
mind.
Brandon.
It wouldn't be one. It would be two, and they would be Daredevil and Spider-Man, or not Daredevil. Not Daredevil. Deadpool and Spider-Man.
Okay.
Because of just the ridiculousness, and
Alex.
poor Peter Parker's head would just explode.
Yes, it would. Alex.
I mean, the easy answer is Magneto. Just so he could dunk on me.
Fair.
Oh, he
I
probably.
think he would take you under his wing and be like, you have potential. I see greatness in you, and try to like
Perfection.
I don't think so. I think he'd try to kill Ethan because he's not a mutant.
Right.
Or like, I took a shortcut to becoming a mutant. I don't know.
Depends on which version of Magneto.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he never actively. No, wait, hang on.
He'd be like, "Look, the regular humans have come up with a me. Look how inferior he is."
But that's absolutely not what happened, and he's smart enough to know that. And he's also smart enough to realize that the storm was unlocking potential in these humans. Like, you're kind of like, is it metahumans in Marvel, or is that DC?
It's
DC.
easy.
Shit. See, I get them mixed up. Whatever the non-mutant heroes are called, like
The Inhumans.
I think we would have our like first scene, like the superhero misunderstanding fight, and then we would team up and.
yeah.
I'd be
I don't know. I think he would eventually.
I mean-
be like, no.
You're
I'll
not a
point-
true actual mutant, but you're okay.
How does
I'll
he feel
point
about
out that-
Spider-Man?
I would say I would point out that the Silver Storm in many ways is not that different than movieverse Magneto's plan in the first X-Men movie.
Well, I mean,
That's why I said it depends on which version
of Magneto.
of Magneto.
Yeah.
It also depends on, like, it could even come down to which comic version of Magneto,
Yeah.
because they're all very different.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, I think
All right.
early Magneto wouldn't like him, but like, I'm actually Professor Xavier now. Magneto would probably be okay with him.
Yeah. All right, Joe.
I think it's a toss-up between Carol Danvers and Zatanna.
Okay.
Just because Carol Danvers, oh my gosh. And just like two powerhouse smart ladies like having a ball. I just feel like they would get along really well. And I think Zatanna and Carol teaming up would have like this fantastic dynamic duo aspect that Zatanna fully understands all the magic and everything, and like she doesn't have to worry about hurting Carol because she's magic based, and Carol gets all of the tech and science stuff that can aid Zatanna. I don't know. I think that would just be hella fun. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. All right, now you, Wiki.
Fuck. So
King Shark.
KGB.
Cyrus would probably enjoy hanging out with
Kite Man.
Alfred.
no, God no. Would probably enjoy hanging out with John Henry Irons and Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Professor Cephalopod probably wants to hang out with Namor. And whatever the hell Goose's name is in the comics.
Chewbacca.
Chewie?
Oh,
Yeah.
Chewie.
Just because.
Flurkin.
There's something eldritch horror between both of you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Look, if
Yeah.
we ever do a
Who is
free to
Chewie?
league game, I want the octopus to be one of the player characters.
Oh my God, yes.
After he's been cured of Cyrus.
Oh yeah, no, the octopus totally is like, wait, I enjoyed being a hero. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's how you get Thor. That's how you get Throg, the frog of thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I'm just waiting for that moment when it turns out that the octopus is actually whatever that space alien was that everybody kept
Oh
referring
yeah.
to. Because there is something even
Force
even before the nanites, there was something unusual about that octopus.
Right.
That's why it was being studied, because it's about, I don't know, 20 years older than it should be.
Right.
The octopus is actually a supervillain. It's what all of the super pets are fighting.
Okay. Why do people always want to make me a villain? I'm the only one in this group who's not trying to kill people, and yet.
Hey,
it's the Hexam.
Yeah.
Carol hasn't killed anyone yet.
No, that's
not so. Oh, yeah, yet.
Yet.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
That's still a
6
lot of
months in the
work.
future.
In the future, she
You know what? No.
absolutely-
She has, because we finished season 1, and the next time we play will be season 2, which happens after.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but like we haven't gotten to that month in which that nonsense happens.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, Aunt Puppy.
I mean, personally, I would like Loki because,
Oh my god.
he's my favorite. But
The shenanigans you two would get up to.
I know, right?
Tony and him? Oh my god.
But I feel like Keone would want to like meet someone that's like an opposite element of her. Like I think she would want to meet someone like Pyro, or like someone that has like a completely opposite element to her.
I want to see fire and ice, but instead of Tora, it's Keone. Holy shit, you two would get into so much trouble.
I don't understand that reference. So
See, I want to see Keone hanging out with Johnny Storm.
yeah, something like that. Like where, like I think she would be intrigued by someone being able to do an element that is opposite of her. Because like obviously, like she's always cold, so like she it would be weird like to feel like that kind of like how warm they get, like how they're comfortable with it. Like it would just be weird for her, and I think I think they would be like kindred spirits because like they would understand that they're in similar but different situations. So like I feel like she would want to be with someone like she would want to team up with someone like that.
Ethan would not like that.
No.
But I would
much prefer B and Keone.
Yeah, I would like Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, though, please.
Fair.
Oh my god, baby Chris Evans.
Yeah, baby Chris Evans.
There's nothing wrong with Michael B. Jordan, Johnny Storm.
Especially if you get Michael B. Jordan after he got jacked for Black Panther.
Oh, God. That is a beautiful man.
Did you hear the story about the teenager who broke her braces?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next question. Star Slayer asks, we all know that it's Bowman, but who on Freedom League Dark would you want to spend more time with?
Bowman.
And it can't be because of Bowman's voice.
You all get your own Bow friends forever. That's mine. I have claimed it. Go away.
All right, so Calvin, if you're still watching, just so you know, you're at some point going to have to do one-shots with each member of the City of Destiny cast.
Calvin, I just want to point out, think about the kind of ridiculous shots you could pull off with the addition of portals that you can place wherever you want.
I mean, Seth can just give you a remote control so you can do it when he's not there.
Ethan does not want to hang out with Bowman.
Who does Ethan want to hang out with?
Even the bow. That's dumb. I love it.
He doesn't want to hang out with Ethan or Resonant. Or, I'm sorry, Bowman or Resonant, because they both hurt him very badly.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
I feel like he might not want to hang out with anybody in Freedom League Dark.
I think Ethan's good. Like,
so I feel like everybody hates Keone because she immediately was like, "I'm going to stab all of you" as soon as they came in.
Is Brutus
help me though? Make sure I'm not.
Or is that the other one?
Make sure I'm not missing anyone. We got Bowman, Centuria, Overdrive, Resonant,
Mortis.
Mortis.
That's it. That's it. That's all 5 of them.
You know what? Maybe
Carol will want to see the dog again.
I think Mortis and Portal had a little bit of a moment.
Ethan will go with Dr. Irons to see Centuria.
And cower behind Doc Irons.
Yes.
And they're not really going to see Centuria. They're going to see the dog.
Right.
I mean,
Brutus
like,
is a good boy.
well, I'm fine with Centuria, but she misses Brutus the dog.
So
The best boy.
Seth wants to hang out with Bowman because, like,
He needs to go talk to Mortis.
but he needs to go spend some time with Mortis.
Yeah.
So honestly, he should probably also go spend some time with Resonant because he's got emotional issues. Okay,
Yeah.
he's got some problems.
I will say that is another one of my sadnesses is I really would have liked to have seen additional screen time between Resonant and Bulwark.
Mm.
Because their moment in the first crossover was one of my favorite moments from that crossover.
That whole the two adults not used to having someone else be the two adults and having them be like, okay, stop.
I mean, my favorite moment of the crossover is probably the combination of Ethan capturing Dr. Metropolis and Dr. Metropolis moving right through it because, well, Ethan
Dr.
was using
Metropolis.
things that were made of city to grapple him. And then immediately thereafter, Seth jumping out of the Octosuit and wrapping himself around Dr.
He's like,
Metropolis.
that just happened. Okay, well, I'm not made of building.
Exactly.
You know, Seth hasn't done that in a while because he did it that time, and then he did it with werewolves.
Yep.
And he got
We
real
haven't really
intimate
seen
with
it since.
Ethan.
Well,
I think
It
we need
hasn't-
more naked Seth.
it hasn't needed to occur.
Well, I mean, in battle,
He's not stupid.
You know, if memory serves, it also didn't go great when he did it with the werewolves.
It was all right.
Okay.
Not bad.
No, it was fine.
All right.
Hashtag naked Seth.
He's always naked.
All right. What else do we have for questions? Well, Aunt Puppy had one that she dropped into the chat. In the Zoom chat. Outside of D&D, by which I'm assuming you mean all RPGs, what are some other hobbies you have? And what is your character's favorite thing to do? I have no hobbies. I have children.
Their hobbies are your hobbies.
I mean, yeah, Irish dance and video games apparently are my hobbies.
horror movies.
And horror
Watching
movies.
Mickey
Horror
Mouse
movies.
Clubhouse.
Watching
I
horror
love,
movies.
I love your posts talking about seeing like the classic horror movies with.
Yeah, I do have some good time with Cordy watching classic horror films.
Yeah.
But Blue, mostly does Irish dance and games with me. But and Declan is too.
Declan is
His hobbies include pooping himself.
His hobbies include throwing things, including himself, on the floor
Yep.
because toddler.
Yep. Well, you asked the question. You get to answer it first, Steph, or Aunt Puppy.
So, my hobbies. So I make candles and T-shirts and Mickey Mouse ears and hair bows and
Crafting. The word she is searching for is crafting.
Yeah, I make a bunch of shit. And I do a lot of baking. So I haven't done it for a while. There's been a bit of stuff going on. So
yeah.
Nope. Calm.
well, that and work stuff too. So it's just been a lot. And but I just recently, my boss's birthday was yesterday, and I made her cupcakes. And I like trying new recipes. So I like doing ones that are weird. So I made cupcakes, which is not weird, but I made them gluten or dairy and sugar free. So every part of the cupcake was dairy and sugar free. So so I like trying different things like that and seeing if they'll work. And seeing if they taste the same. According to everybody, they did, but I don't know how much people were just saying that they did because they didn't want to hurt my feelings, or if they were actually good. But my
Joe,
boss
your
had
face is
two.
not on mute there. And
Yeah. So my boss had two. So that, I guess I'll say that she liked them at least. So that's good. I mean, I've made a cake with no sugar or flour. That was difficult. That was a lot of eggs. But I feel like Keone, I tried to kind of give Keone similar hobbies as
I was
I
gonna say,
have.
it sounds like she likes the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's so much the crafty side because I feel like she doesn't fully have the patience for it.
No.
But like
No.
The baking is
baking,
definitely cute.
yeah, and the baking one, I think that stemmed from the idea that baking is a journey. So like, and you can make stops along the way. So like you can lick the batter before you put the cupcakes in. You can eat the cookie dough before you bake the cookie. Like you can kind of like, you don't have to finish it to make it something that you can still eat. So, I mean,
So
hashtag don't recommend eating raw cookie dough.
but everyone does it anyway.
A warning, even though it
Well,
really
how do they make it to where it's edible now? Like,
They do.
yeah, they do have edible cookie dough. But yeah, like, so I kind of threw that in as just something that's a hobby that I really enjoy and have started kind of developing. And I feel like that would be a good one, like that Keone that would be something that would be distracting enough, but she would still, even if she was halfway through something, she could still finish what she was doing. So that's kind of where it came from.
All right. Wiki.
Why me? So
Because there's 5 of you, and I'm gonna get to you eventually anyway.
well, yeah, but sometimes I have time. So Seth's hobbies include science.
that's his job.
Yeah, it's not a hobby.
It's also his hobby.
My hobby is my job too, just by the way.
Yeah, I can't defend that.
And art. He likes art. He actually has a degree in art history. So art and science.
Now your hobbies.
Jesus Christ. We don't have time for that. Crafting,
Yes.
sewing.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. Crafting, sewing, writing, eating, watching TV, collecting things. Yeah.
Playing games.
Playing games. The answer is yes.
Brandon.
That's my answer.
Well, also having kids, not too much, but I would say like a couple of things when I have those rare moments of time. And I've already forgotten one of them. Because clearly I love it so much.
Reading?
No, not really. That's the irony of it all. I completely forget the first one I was going to say, so let's just go to the second one. I've been kind of really getting into like nerfing kind of stuff. That I was very sick for an extended period of time this winter, and just fell down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos. And so like all the things that come with modding them and making them, faster and cooler in whatever way you can, and all the stuff that kind of goes with that, like 3D printing parts and painting them and electrical circuit designs and computer programming and all that kind of stuff. And when it comes to Portal, I think Portal's kind of in a weird space where he doesn't really have a hobby. He's kind of, a childhood of trauma, then in Claremont, and now a hero. And so something has always been taking up so much of his time that he hasn't been able to think of, what do I want to do when I'm not doing something? I think if he discovered nerfing, he would become quickly obsessed with it. That seems like something that would be right up his alley.
I think Keone would definitely play with them.
I could also see him getting into something like rock climbing, because he has the ultimate safety net. There are lots of possibilities. I think as we stretch into our characters in season 2, he might find one, but I think he's just in that kind of weird niche that he's still kind of young, and especially with his background, he doesn't really have one at the moment. And the idea of hobby, like, he's not even really thought about the idea of having hobbies.
He plays video games with his boyfriend.
Yeah, but mostly he does that just so he can spend time with his boyfriend. Doesn't really do
That
anything.
counts as a hobby.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Spending time with friends and significant others. Hells yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He likes to dance.
Clubbing.
I was just about to say clubbing.
Drinking.
Clubbing.
Hey, that is Keone's hobby.
A hobby.
Wearing inappropriate outfits, that's definitely one of his hobbies.
Being naked in public.
I think just being flamboyantly queer, is that a hobby?
Sure.
I mean, I feel like he's made it one.
No, he's made it in art.
An identity. Become it.
Yeah, and I would say that actually Portal doesn't drink that much. It is Keone who is definitely the heavy drinker. I mean, Portal will drink, but he is not the heavy drinker.
Yeah, he doesn't. You don't see him drinking randomly on random occasions. If he's drinking, it's because he's out partying with his friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Keone doesn't drink randomly. Keone has reasons for drinking. They may be
good reasons,
but there are reasons.
They are unhealthy reasons. But gosh darn it, they are reasons.
All right, Joe.
Camping is the other thing that I like to do.
Okay, so I'm a professional artist. So God forgive me. So like that craft thing, just to the nth power. The reason I always have these digital backgrounds is because I am sitting in my space where I work every day. I lean over and I can touch my laser. Like, because I literally have one. It's bad. So if I'm not learning and training in art and design and all that stuff, because that takes up most of my brain power, I train in martial arts. I have been training in martial arts since I was 4 years old, for better or worse. And if I'm not doing that, I am literally traveling internationally to learn more about tea. If you want to know anything about tea, I got you. And
like tea that you
yes,
sip? Okay.
yes, like a pretentious bitch, like tea party, tea ceremonies, tea cultivation, tea variety, like.
Because Joe is secretly Uncle Ira.
Yeah.
Have you seen the meme where Uncle Iro and Alfred hang out together?
Mm-hmm.
But they go to war over tea?
Yes. And I will forever side with Iro on it because I hate British tea. Because anyways, I'm not going to get into it. I will not go on that rant. But
I just remember the first time I ever had Earl Grey, and I was like, holy shit, Picard is drinking Fruit Loops?
It shouldn't taste like that.
What?
Like, how much
Oh,
sugar?
right, it
Anyways,
tastes
it's fine.
fruity.
Yeah, no, I literally took a ceramics class so I could try to reproduce the Rava teapot from Avatar. Like, tea is my thing, martial arts is my thing, and otherwise I'm an artist. So as for Carol, we calculated this on like the last game, but she's been in this world for a month.
Her hobbies are surviving hell.
Yeah, her she's
That covers it.
she's barely
Not
accepting
killing
that this
Max.
reality is an actual thing she can live in. Like, part of her is still like, at any moment I'll be yanked out again and I'll go back to the bad place. And so literally like just napping and being wrapped up in something soft and warm and comfy and sipping on coffee is her favorite thing. Like, more meditative, like calm, just looking out one of the big fucking windows across the city of like, it's not hell, this is nice, okay. And like,
I could see her just sitting with a blanket, looking out the window, cup of hot chocolate while it's snowing.
no, not hot chocolate, coffee. She missed coffee. And mind you, like, I hate coffee. I think it's the grossest thing in the world. Like, ugh. But Carol, that like just a nice stout black cup of coffee and a comfy blanket in front of a window, she is so happy right now. That's her jam.
Burrito Carol.
Her hobby is potato.
Yeah, because she did not get potato for 10 years.
So what you're saying is, if we ever go back to space for a period of time, we should watch out for nebulas
Yeah.
because there might be coffee in them.
Yep. She will. But yeah.
All right.
So,
Alex?
Yeah, I just want to call out Joe for also making her hobby a job.
look, I am a recovering freelance artist. I did that grind for like it was a long time. And it wasn't until I moved back from Japan that I had my first like salary job. Holy fuck, disposable income's awesome. I don't even make that much money, but I'm so used to living so dirt ass poor.
What is this disposable income you speak of?
Right? Like,
I'm confused.
yeah. So.
Well, Alex's hobbies include tabletop gaming, which, surprise, here we are. I've been a tabletop gamer since I was 11 years old, so it's a big form of storytelling and a big social activity that has shaped my life very much for the last 20 years. I also enjoy writing, which is why I made it a job, to see if I could crush all the joy out of it.
And boy, have you succeeded.
This weekend
Don't
crushed
do
all the
photography
joy.
anymore.
Although I don't know, I'm counting editing in with the writing.
yes, that counts. And I really like playing video games, but I haven't gotten to do that in a long time because I've just been out of time. And I love karaoke. Karaoke is one of my favorite things to do. Karaoke and live theater. I haven't been in a show since last year, but I am eager to get back to the stage at some point if I ever get a slight break from USP.
So what you're saying is our live episode should be a musical?
I agree.
No.
Hard no. Hard no.
But also soft yes.
No, your girl don't sing.
There's an audition for Little Shop of Horrors on August 23rd, and I'm really, really trying not to go to it. But
Why?
because I can't. I've got Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays all wrapped up, and they rehearse Sunday through Thursday. So
Yeah.
I am a busy man. I don't have time for it right now. But Ethan's hobbies include video games and making art. He loves all forms of physical media. He likes sculpting, welding, painting. He's not as good at painting as he is at the physical arts. He loves being able to express himself through artistic expression. And that's sort of his therapy. It's where he goes when he's stressed out, to go make gifts for people so he can provide gifts and then slowly feel better about himself.
So he can buy friendship?
Yeah.
Hey,
So he can prove he has
no,
work.
it is not buying friendship. It is
No, that is
offering
100% what he is doing. He may not realize it.
Ethan was raised by wealthy people, so everything
Uh-huh.
has a transactional
Yep.
aspect to it for him.
Yep.
It's something he's trying to work through. It's because that's not what he wants to be, but he was
It's who
raised
he
that
is.
way. It's hard to get rid of it.
buying friendship. Nope. I will die on that hill. That is not buying friendship.
It's also trying a desperate cry to try and prove his worth
Yeah, Ethan.
in the eyes of others.
We're talking about hobbies, but Ethan has a deep-seated fear that if he cannot provide a service or something to people, that they will leave him.
Because his father's a dickhead.
And probably a supervillain.
Yep, that's it.
Oh. GM said it, you guys.
I said probably.
Don't listen to anything the
Which is
GM
much
says.
stronger. That's much stronger than "and yet."
So one thing that you should always remember about GMs is that lies and deceptions.
We are here to make you not trust your local GM.
And that includes me.
I mean, I'm trying to make sure everyone has a good time.
Occasionally by lying and
Through
deceiving.
lies and deceptions.
Like, all right,
Because as much as we complain about the trauma, we love the trauma.
Yeah. So that is all the questions we currently have. I guess I just want to go around and ask the five of you if there are any, like I said, you already hit me with a few of them, but are there any major plot questions or things that you just like, I never understood why this happened, that you want to ask me? And I might still say I can't tell you that yet, but one of the big problems I've discovered is there is always more lore for characters and backgrounds and why they do shit than the players ever get to find out. Paizo in particular has ruined me for this, where like I'm like, you have 5 paragraphs about this person's history and backstory and why they ended up as an undead guard of this.
Why they're a bartender.
Yeah.
That the players will never even interact.
And the players are never going to know this. Like, it was one of my favorite things about when I was running the Mummy's Mask game. One of the characters was a I'm blanking on the name of the class, but they had psychometry. They could touch a thing and get its history. And I was like, look, I actually get to share all of the lore of these things because you
touched it.
Yeah.
But in a fantastically traumatizing way.
Well,
Yay!
usually yes. But so yeah. Questions that, like I said, and you're right, there is one other question, but I wanted to end with that one.
Okay.
So Big Brain, just to make sure I'm not missing any connective tissue, Big Brain was kind of a side quest to keep us busy while we're trying to figure out the larger thing? Or was there a connection to the larger thing that I'm missing?
There is no connection between the Big Brain and the Silver Storm and Telex.
Other than it provoking the Big Brain, because now there's supers all over the place.
Right. Yeah, I mean the motivation behind the Big Brain and how it connects into everything is that the Silver Storm disrupt the very careful balance that the Chamber had created. And so now supervillains are going, well, fuck it, I'm gonna take over Emerald City. So.
Okay.
Mine would be, I know we're going to at some point in time see Keone's birth giver. And I know that we've already met her grandma. Do we meet either male companion of those?
You will probably...
Yes, and it's a Yeti. Your father is a Yeti.
You will probably meet them. You may not realize it's them.
It's totally the Yeti.
It's gonna be a Yeti.
It's
All
the
of
Yeti.
you.
How
Keone's
often
not going to
does-
meet him,
does-
but the Yeti's going to come up to Ethan and be like, I'm watching you.
I mean, here's the big question that we can help confirm this. How often does Keone have to shave her legs?
Mm. Yeah, I guess that would determine if the Yeti is her daddy.
I don't imagine Keone does shave her legs.
Okay, can we
She's got
not
a girly
think
side
about
to her.
this?
I think
Like,
she does.
I'm thinking about no. I don't. No math.
All right. Any other plot dangling questions?
I want to know who the hell my dad was on the phone with in that scene Ethan didn't see.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
You
that.
know he's not going to answer that question.
I had to ask.
Um,
It was the guy who washes his brain tank.
Warden Maximus asked, if you got to choose another RPG to stream, what would it be?
The answer to that is yes.
I actually have an answer.
I have an answer too.
I know what Wiki's answer is.
I have
bet.
several answers.
What-
I have an answer. Calvin, you listening? Lancer. Also the one that Aaron thought I was going to answer, which was Deadlands.
Right.
Ooh, yes.
That would, in fact, be the one I was expecting you to say. Yes.
Yeah.
Deadlands, but the edition that still used the cards. for the-
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
First edition.
Yeah, yeah.
Pinnacle.
They're not
Yep.
here, but we're thinking about doing something with Deadlands soon. TRCM.
I would also love, I mean, the werewolf game was the first thing that I started watching with USP. And so I would yeah.
I mean, any game I could play a Nosferatu in, I'm there.
And then I had just mentioned it before we started the stream, but I've started dipping my toe into Cyberpunk Red. That would be a really fun game to stream.
Yeah. We were going to do a Cyberpunk 2020 game our first year for New Year's because it was 2020. But
And the world was about to burn.
it didn't quite work out. So,
Oh.
Joe?
Before I joined with USP, I was working with a different gaming streaming group, and I had mapped out 3 entire Cypher System games that had different stories to them. Like one was like, I was calling it Magic and Muskets. It was 3 Musketeers in Cypher System, and then another one was Ghost Chasers. That was slightly autobiographical because I was basing all of that on shenanigans I did in undergrad in Savannah, Georgia, which is a very haunted town. And then the third one was a retelling of the Japanese legend of Amaterasu, and all in Cypher System. And like, I would absolutely love to fully do those games for people someday. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, Alex has the advantage of anything that he wants us to stream. We'll probably end up streaming at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding when I begged Jonesy to turn that Age Cthulhu game into a campaign.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I liked those characters too.
A cool system. Cool. I mean, I love all things Cthulhu.
I don't know if there's anything that I want us to play that we haven't already played. Most of the things I want to play are not game system specific, but are setting specific. Like I want to do a DC show. I want to bring Titan City back. I want to do a Suicide Squad campaign because I think that would be fun with this group of people.
Poor Barry.
Just so much chaos.
Poor
So
Barry.
much chaos.
Hey, you know, the follow-up could be the opener.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad of Tomorrow. Make that like a mini series, like 12
Uh-huh.
episodes. I think that'd be fun.
That would
We
be
just
fun.
like something that could be something we run like once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, what was that swashbuckling game we played a few times?
7th Sea.
7th Sea.
7th Sea. That's another one. That would be ridiculous.
And I will say,
we
having
did play
played
a
the
7C.
new, huh?
We did play a 7C on the stream.
We did, but it was the new edition, which I do not like as much.
I don't either.
But
It was fun, but first edition was.
I liked the first edition rules a lot better.
I would like to
So
play Vampire the
my-
Masquerade at some point.
Oh, hella fun.
Yes,
Uh,
that is the one. No, you guys
just
don't
sent Wiki to a happy
understand
place.
that. You don't
Yeah.
understand. The one thing I have always wanted to play is a Nosferatu in a vampire game. It is the one thing. It is the one system I have never actually gotten to play in.
oh,
I have never played in
Ever.
World of Darkness, and I really want to.
I want to play Adventure really bad.
I just want to play Kennedy again. I
also
miss Kennedy
anything
so
Legends of
fucking
Five
much.
Rings. Like I have
Yeah.
the book, but I've never, I haven't been able to play it at all. I want to try that system so bad.
So the other thing I would love to bring to the stream, and the only reason I haven't is because the amount of work to do it in Roll20 is exhausting, is Street Fighter the RPG.
Oh, there was.
Oh my god, I'd be there so fast for that.
Oh, I would
Because-
be on that.
That would be so much work, but holy
Because-
shit.
It is ridiculously hella fun.
It was. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
But the creating a deck for every major bad guy is fucking exhausting. It's not so bad in person where you can just, photocopy the sheet and write out your 9 cards and you're good. But importing all of that into Roll20 was such a pain.
And then having Alex just use his ferrokinesis to rip it off the page.
It was more of a pain in the ass than creating that map was. I did it for a one shot for New Year's in 2020 actually, or was it 2019?
2019 to 2020.
Into
Because it was
2020,
right
yeah.
before lockdown.
Yeah, no, it was after lockdown.
Was it?
Yeah, because that's the only reason that we didn't have people over for New Year's Eve was because
Quarantine.
lockdown. Anyway,
Shadowrun.
Anyway.
Shadowrun is another one that would be fun.
what?
I
Shadowrun.
would like to play a game set in that universe, but not using those rules because fuck that game.
I do not like the Shadowrun.
I've never
rules.
played Shadowrun.
Mutants
so.
and Masterminds is the perfect system for Shadowrun.
I love the setting, but I hate the rules. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to play some Starfinder or
we are
5e.
confusing poor Aunt Puppy.
5e literally just came out with, and my brain is like, no.
Spelljammer?
Spelljammer.
Spelljammer, yeah.
That would be fun.
D&D in space essentially would be a lot of fun.
Space elves. Or
I would not.
elves.
I would
in
not
Space.
oppose to running a Starfinder AP on stream.
Oh,
Yeah,
my-
and hey Calvin, you tell Ramona I'm playing a gnome.
Also, tell Ramon to remove his address from the internet.
Because Wiki's gonna find.
my
Just-
husband is
Just play a halfling. I got your halfling.
Did you, Alex? I saw you in the chat. You said about the Fallout 2D20 system. I thought you were going to do that during Trevor Project.
I thought I was going to do that too.
Ah.
But we played Mutants and Masterminds in the Fallout setting instead. 'Cause I ran out of time after Origins to learn a whole game system and do all the other Trevor Project stuff. So,
Okay.
but it is still on my list of things to run. And I did back the Kickstarter for Old Gods of Appalachia, so I would like to play
Oh,
that
yeah.
when it comes out too.
That does look pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
What does?
Old Gods of Appalachia. It's
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
horror podcast game coming out.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. So let's bring it home with a final question, which is, what vacation is your character going to take after all of the ridiculousness that they went through in the 4 months that City of Destiny takes place over?
So,
Cyrus does not know what vacation means.
Yeah, and you can't really go anywhere.
So
Lab.
Tommy and I are going to Bora Bora.
I say, Cyrus's vacation is going to be having everyone else leave the tower for a vacation.
yes, yes.
It's like a mom on Mother's Day. I want nothing to do with any of you humans. Get away from me.
Everybody get out.
Yep.
No, his vacation is going to be going and hanging out with Mortis in the underworld. Seems like a fun vacation, right?
I could see Steph in his little tank just like twirling around listening to like classical music, and like all of us coming back from vacation being like, what the fuck is happening?
He doesn't listen to classical music.
Well, whatever music he listens to. In my head he listens
We
to classical
covered this already. This was a question of the day.
That's a lot of remembering. You can barely remember what Keone's done.
All right, so where's Keone going on vacation?
So Keone would want to go somewhere where she could wear the least amount of clothing. So wherever that is acceptable.
So literally everywhere, anywhere. I feel like she doesn't.
Beach.
We're going to France before my dad cuts me off.
Yeah, like I feel like she would want to go somewhere where like she could just literally just like not wear any clothes.
You would just go to like one of the nude beaches on around Marseille in France.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where you're on the sea and like salt water's really thick and you can float stupid easy. Like she would have so much fun there.
I could go there.
Maybe Tommy and I will go to that what's that resort? Hedonism or whatever. Maybe we'll go there.
Like, I just feel like Keone would want something where like literally like no judgment, like just like gets to be free. Like just like not paying attention to anything and just, you know, cabana boys bring her drinks and or girls, you know, whatever. And she just kind of lays there and doesn't have to think or do anything.
Including
put
clothes on.
Yeah, she's too lazy. She doesn't even want to put clothes on.
Maybe that'll be Seth's vacation. He'll just follow you guys, each of you on your vacations, just to annoy the shit out of you.
Like I'm laying there and all of a sudden someone keeps splashing me and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I just see
an octopus throwing seashells at you from out in the ocean.
I think that critter hates you, ma'am.
He's just a coworker and he's angry.
Yeah.
He's a friend from work.
Yeah, he's a friend from work. It's fine.
And then people are like, you work with an octopus?
But you're like, I'm naked, don't judge. Get out of here.
To be fair, we've all seen Cyrus naked at this point.
I told you he's always naked.
I mean, I think we all can agree also that everybody has seen both Keone and Portal naked.
Probably,
and we've asked you to stop doing that.
Carol hasn't seen it. Well, I mean, Carol hasn't seen the kids naked.
And if she has, she's blocked it out.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she has. Because like,
I don't.
I
don't think so.
Like, there's the almost moment of when Tommy and Peter did their thing, but she very quickly was like, "And you need to be modest right now. Please cover up. I don't have time."
The best part was nothing was actually happening then.
Yeah, there was that time, but then also like the more recent one where you just snatched each other into your bedroom and like he came out in your sweater or something like that. But no, she hasn't seen you guys naked yet. I mean, she definitely Cyrus, but Octopus is always naked.
Right.
Previous question though, also Aaron, that Shadow Pact world you created.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was a very heavily modified version of Eden's Armageddon using the Unisystem.
I think Carol would plan an extended vacation to go see all the great art museums across Europe once she can help Cyrus get his body back.
All the
Right.
ones that were destroyed in your world.
Well, everything was destroyed in my world.
Yeah.
Like,
Including the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was destroyed.
But she would absolutely not take a vacation until Cyrus has his body back. And then she's like, we're spending a month doing this. I have all this money that Mars is just throwing at me that we're just going to spend and going to go do this.
3
Well-
weeks in, either Portal or Keone is going to say, so did Professor C and Dr. Irons quit the team?
Well, the thing is that once he's alive again, he has access to all of his money from all his various patents and shit. So
Mhm.
He's
there's
rolling.
I mean, he's not like Max Mars rich,
Yeah.
but he's not.
He's very well off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of that is in trust funds for the kids.
sure. But so in her mind, she's like, we don't have to like go into anything because like she's used to living on nothing. She hasn't spent but maybe $50 or no, probably I'm gonna say $250 for that like big makeover thing that Riley helped her with. But she
You
hasn't
didn't pay
spent-
anything for that.
Yeah, no,
See?
Max did that.
See, so like she just has a shit ton of money that she's like, all this is just for a big fucking vacation. That's all this is gonna be used for. Especially if she gets her identity back and like all that stuff. Oh, this is just spending money.
But,
Oh, what
but you
about
know,
Ethan?
Now, let's also be honest, though. As soon as Cyrus gets his body back, we're not going to see the two of them for like a week straight
Mm-mm. No, we will be gone.
Ethan.
in your bedrooms.
Ethan has a plan. He's gonna take Keone to Disney World before he gets cut off of his money.
And
Then he's
hair.
gonna close.
I thought you were going to take her to the naked beach.
He'll do
She's
that
going to the
too,
naked
but he doesn't want to go to the naked beach. He's gonna have a little metal cod piece and his mask at the naked beach.
Oh God! Please, someone watching this, be an artist and draw that.
Okay. Well,
And the codpiece has no like leather strap or anything keeping it up.
with that, I can't believe
It's
we're
just-
ending.
It's just toupee tape.
Yeah.
That's
The
all that's
other
necessary.
thing he wants to try to do
carpet
is
tape.
convince Keone to take him to meet her parents in Idaho or wherever she's from.
Her adoptive
In
parents?
Idaho.
Yeah, her real parents or her adopted parents.
Her real parents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her real parents. Ethan gets it. He knows that those are her real parents, and this ice lady is just some crazy woman from the woods.
I mean,
A
bio
mountain. She's a crazy woman from a mountain.
mountain, but
There are woods out there.
there are.
Lady.
Oh my God! We're gonna go to the mountains. We get to meet the prospector.
We got to bring Mortis that episode.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think with that, it is about time to call it a night. I'm glad that we got to have this last chance to have all of us together and just kind of unwind and answer some questions and tease some things for the future. Thank you guys for hanging with us, and we will see you in season 2. And many of us will see you at the end of the month for Gemstars.
I think some of us will see you.
And some of us will be here
Next
next week for the Mummy.
Yes, next week for the Mummy.
So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll just kick it to everyone real fast to anything they want to say before we log off for the final time for this season. Alex.
Well, first come see us at Gen Con if you're coming to Gen Con. I want to see you and say hi, and we have USP poker chips to give away, so come and see us if you want one. But also thank you guys so much for this experience. I really I really appreciate getting to be a part of it and getting to stretch my creative legs with you guys, and it's very special to me, and I can't wait to do it again when we come back. And come watch Guardians of Haven on Monday.
Mhm.
And
They're getting up to some shenanigans right now.
Look, there were rectangles being handed out. There was,
Yes.
and it was way more sweet than it sounds.
I still haven't finished watching last night's episode yet, so.
Well, there are rectangles.
Okay.
Shapes are the love language of the moon.
And I'll pass it over to Wiki.
I'm going to do the thing where I go, yes, and thank you, and awesome, and feelings, and blah, whatever, but also. Joe?
Mm. Well, stay hydrated, please. And if you take your meds, please take meds. Or I said that a little weird. Whatever.
Not that
Fucking
backwards,
hells.
but
If you take meds, please take them. Care for yourself because we care for you. Aunt Puppy.
I just have two things. One is I just found out that my niece that is she's 16. She is now on her varsity soccer team full time. So pretty excited about that. So
Rockin'.
literally like 2 minutes ago, she texted me and was like, just so you know.
yay.
You're gonna be
And then the
a
other thing
lot
is
of
just
football
play a
matches.
game. So Brandon,
Read a book.
I don't
Aaron?
think you're allowed to say that anymore.
I didn't say I don't read books. I just said my hobby is not reading books.
Fair.
I read books professionally.
Right. Well, you know, we're bringing this chapter to an end, but the our connected Earth Prime universe still has a whole lot more coming. Watch Guardians of Haven. Watch Gemstars. Once it starts, listen to Heroes of Tomorrow, and we will see you guys on the flip side. Bye.